No, welcome to Friday afternoon.
Awesome. Excited about it.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and just kick it off here. We got Jim Cotter leading it off. Jeremy on deck, Joey in the hole. So go ahead, Big Jim.
Hey, George, hope you're doing well. What was your initial thoughts about being back on the turf at Memorial Stadium for your first couple practices after being here as a player?
It was kind of surreal. I got out there early, walked around because I haven't really been in the stadium much since, my last home game on senior night in '98. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be back. You memorize, you remember when, Dana used to knock me out when I was on the scout team and things like that. So it's been really cool. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to help build the program and excited to do my part.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, George, Jeremy from 24/7 Sports. Just wondering, what have you noticed about your wide receiver room so far and what sticks out about that group?
I think the biggest thing, they're really hungry to get better. There's guys in the office right now trying to get prepared for tomorrow's practice. They're very resilient. We threw a lot at them on Tuesday and they came back and responded well yesterday. So I just been excited about the hunger they have to get better and their desire to keep developing and keep pushing their selves forward.
And Coach Bielema said it was your idea to bring Caleb Griffin into the room. Can you tell that story of what you saw in the Danville kid to bring him in?
Well, we saw it was really Mark Terrasani. Like, he's the one that gave me the courage to go ask Coach Bielema about it. We were doing the morning conditioning in the stations and he was beating everybody. And, he's long, he's athletic, he has really good speed. So me and Mark were talking one day and he's like, hey, Caleb's over there, he might be able to help you out. So he kind of pushed me off the diving board and I went over there and talked to Coach B about, we're a little bit thin on the outside receivers. So, Coach was gracious enough to loan me him and see where we can go with it. But he's done a nice job. He's a blank slate. He's always coming in early in the morning, trying to learn the plays, learn the skills and learn the technique. But he has, he's a natural athlete. So I've been really excited working with him.
It's a really fun story, but is there an expectation or what should our expectations be about him there?
My expectations, we need to score some touchdowns for us. Everybody, the one thing that I respect about Coach B and the one thing he's told everybody in this program, that everybody's competing. And it doesn't matter what you did last year or what all the things you've done in the past is what you do every day and the days you stack that are good days to help us get where we want to go. And Caleb's a guy, like, he has good length, he has really good speed, he has good ball skills. He caught punts in games last year. So I mean, he's a great athlete. So it's been fun working with him, and every day he's gotten better, and every day he's gotten more physical, and every day he's made a play and he's found a way to play with great effort. So I'm excited to see where this spring goes with all the guys, but especially with him, and see where we go going into the fall.
Thanks, George.
Hey, George, this is Joey Wagner with 24/7. This roster of wide receivers maybe doesn't have a lot of college game experience. What's the key for you to get them ready for maybe a bigger role than they've had in the past come August?
I think it's just daily development, right? We're just trying to get better every day and continue to grow them. You got to start somewhere. I wasn't a coach till I got my first opportunity. It was the first time I was coaching. So I really don't worry about the game reps. I just worry about the preparation. The one good thing is between Bart Miller and Ben Miller, I know we're going to have a good run game. So maybe it'll take a little bit of pressure off of us, but we're excited to get going. And they, like I said, Tuesday was a great day because it was the first day. Yesterday was a better day because we improved our technique and got in better position to make some plays. And if we can continue to get better every day, as a position group, we're going to make the offense better. And if we do it as a team, we're going to be better that way. So all we've been doing is focusing on the next practice, which is tomorrow, and just keep growing and developing the skill sets.
Is there like a specific moment that sticks out to you that you thought like, okay, these guys are really starting to buy into what we want to do? I mean, was there kind of that pivotal moment in these first 8 weeks that gave you some pretty good hope for this group?
Well, when they caught the first pass from Coach Peterson's quarterbacks and routes on there, I thought we had a shot. But, Tuesday was rough. It was the first time we had been on the field together, the first time we did some drills together. The DBs kind of got their hands on us a little bit. So when we came back yesterday, we had another individual period. We were able to work on some different skill sets. And then when we got in the same situations that we were in Tuesday, there was an improvement in terms of getting off the line of scrimmage and getting in position to make plays. So for me, I see them getting better. And the one thing I always chart is, who's coming back on their own to study, to watch tape, to ask questions. And a lot of those guys are coming in after they're done with classes or sending text messages or coming in early in the morning to try to get extra coaching and teaching. So, that's what's encouraging to me, just because I know that they are hungry and they're trying to push themselves to get better and be prepared for every practice.
Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Hey, George. Colin Likas from News Gazette. Good to see you again. I know we just talked about Caleb. A little bit, but are there any other guys who have especially stood out to you so far? Through, I know, just 2 practices, but for any particular reason, any guys who have really impressed you in any fashion so far?
Donnie Navarro's done a really good job. He's had, he's played at a high level. He plays fast. He's made some plays, and he's I'm still getting used to these guys, but he's a very serious guy in terms of his preparation. He's done a nice job. Carlos Sandy's made some plays. He's been really consistent. Delvon Campbell has had a good couple days going up for competing for the ball. Kamari Thompson's done a nice job. So I think all of them as a group. Brian Hightower's done a lot of good things. Owen Hickey's made some plays. Ty Lindemann had a great play yesterday. So I think as a group, and I'm big more into the group of guys. I think the more we can play as a collective group, the better we're going to be. I don't necessarily think we have to have one superstar receiver. We just have to have guys who can catch the ball, who can create separation, and who can continue to move the chains for us. And as we continue to develop, those big plays and explosive plays are going to come. Coach Peterson calls really good plays. We got really good running backs with Coach Patterson and his. So it's just a collective group of a team playing Illinois football and Illinois offense, and not worrying about who's getting the credit for it.
And then Bret mentioned to us, I don't remember exactly when, but it was after the first practice. He said he kind of took you coaches aside and kind of showed you video of you guys coaching from back on Tuesday. What was your takeaways from that? What did that kind of, mean to you, if anything, to kind of see that and get some feedback from him on that front?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, it's a reality check, because we all think we're the best at what we do. And then to have coach come in and he's great. He's not necessarily grading you, but he's hey, George, I think we need to improve this. I think you can do that. And, I've been coaching, I think, for 20 some years. And that's the first time in that type of setting that a coach has really brought me in and coached me on how to be a better coach. And, I think that's one of the reasons, I wanted to come be a part of this staff and come back, was because of Coach B. He told me when I decided to come that he was going to make me a better coach. And daily, he's made me a better coach. And that was just one more instance where I had been doing drills for so long that you kind of just do the drill. And he was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing it this way? And I hadn't. And I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. And the next day we did it, and it actually made that practice or that individual period better. So I think that's the one thing. We have a dynamic staff, whether it's our defensive staff, offensive staff, our special team staff. And the one thing that I've been most impressed with is every day you're learning from someone else across the ball, like Kevin Kane, J-Mo talking about pass release rushes and stuff like that. So every day I feel like I'm growing and stretching, because I'm around guys who are challenging me to think outside the box or challenging me to improve my coaching techniques.
Thank you, George.
Hi, Coach. Doug Bouchon from Rivals. It seems like, on paper, the wide receiver room is a little thin. Now, you mentioned that yourself just now. Has there been a discussion among the staff about how to kind of bolster that group, whether it's going into the transfer portal or moving players around from other positions?
I think the biggest thing and the lifeblood is just recruiting. I think we have some guys that we're targeting. Pat and Nate McNeil do a great job of getting us prospects. So, we're trying to keep the best kids in state. I think there's some good kids in state that can catch the football. So we're trying to get that and develop the guys we got. Obviously, the transfer portal has changed college football. So we're looking for guys, in our normal recruiting areas and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing that I can do daily is get the guys in the building better. They deserve the right to get coached hard and develop them hard. And once practice is over, everybody on the staff is recruiting hard to continue to get this next class together and find the best players to keep building it. So I think it's twofold. We're going to recruit, we're going to develop. And if there's a guy that's playing in another position that can help at wide receiver or help somewhere else, we're going to look into that. And that's Coach B's philosophy. But then we're also going to try to go out and recruit the best players that we can, starting with the state of Illinois.
Coach Bielema has been pretty aggressive, adding players to need positions like linebacker, for example, running back. what's the scholarship grid look like right now? Or do you have some flexibility to add a wide receiver between now and next fall?
That would be a great question for Pat Embleton. I think there are some ways. I think right now we're just trying to get our team better that we have and try to get that 22 class situated. That would be something that Coach B, he writes the check. So if he gives some money out for another receiver, I'll gladly use it. But, right now we're just focused on having a good spring and just like I said, stacking great days together and developing the guys every time we get an opportunity to be around them.
Great. Thank you very much, Coach.
George, in your 20 plus years of experience, what changes tomorrow when the pads go on? I think we sometimes, or at least I sometimes assume that there's more of an emphasis on the guys closer to the line of scrimmage, the bigger guys. But what changes for you and how you coach technique as the pads start to come on?
Really, nothing really changes technique wise. I think we always want to be a physical unit. We always want to make sure that we're competing for the ball. I think what changes is you really see who's going to do it. I think everybody's is fearless when you're not going to get hit. And we're going to protect our guys, but when you put the pads on, there's going to be some contact. There's going to be, some touching of each other. So I think that's where you're going to see who's really going to go across the middle and attack the football, who's going to go up when someone's on their body and make a play. So that's what we're most excited about, and who's going to block the safety for Coach Miller when we're running zone. So you're going to see who's going to go be a physical player and play the style of football that we want to play here, in a controlled setting. So I think that's why the first day of pads is always a good indicator of what type of player that guy's going to be, because you're either going to put your face in the fan, for lack of better terms, or you're not. And we're looking for guys who are going to go put their face in the fan.
Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Hey, George, if I could follow up on Caleb, only because there's just not a lot of kickers, I don't think, in Division I football that also have a wide receiver distinction next to their name. Do you remember the first time you kind of saw him, and did you know a lot about him? I mean, it's just such a unique kind of position that he's in.
No, I didn't really I was spinning. I was trying to figure out by jersey number who guys were. I just kept seeing them beat everybody. I'm like, who is that? And then, obviously Coach B's talked about him, but the more you talk about him, the more I'm finding out he was an elite soccer player. I think he has a brother that plays basketball at Colorado State. I just heard he has a sister that kicks. So obviously, he comes from a very athletic family. We're actually had an outing, and I was like, hey, can you catch the football? I know you're fast and all that, but can you catch? So he came in the indoor one night and he videotaped himself running routes, and he looked good. I was like, okay, I can sleep better at night. But, if you talk to him, he's an athlete, and he carries himself like an athlete. Just getting to know him, he's not a guy that he wants to be put in a box. He wants to help us win games and whatever that is. But he's pretty skilled. It's not a gimmick or anything like that. He's a very skilled player, kicking the ball, catching the ball. So I'm really, really excited to continue to work with him, just because he's just a blank slate. But he's 6'3", he has great size, and he has really good speed. So that's the coach's dream right now. Now, don't hold me to it if he doesn't end up being an All-American, but I am excited to work with them and see how far we can take this.
And I wanted to follow up with you. You talked about getting to that first practice a little early and kind of soaking in being back inside the stadium. And you had talked a lot about what it means to you to come home when we talked to you the first time. Can you walk me into a little bit about what those emotions were, both that day and maybe even Monday night, kind of knowing that this was finally going to happen on Tuesday morning? What did all that mean to you when it was really real and in front of you?
I mean, Monday night was short. I woke up at 3:30. I woke up okay, where's my whistle at? And then I had to come in and find a whistle. But, the first thing that when I walked into the stadium, to be honest with you, the first thing I thought about was Steve Willis. That's a friend of mine that, rests his soul and all those things. But that was the guy I thought about. I thought about Asim Plez and Danny Clark when they're on scout team and they're down there getting us hyped up for the games and stuff like that. So it was a rush of emotions. That was kind of odd because I never really felt it, but you have flashbacks of just moments on the field and experiences on the field. So it was special. I think I said a lot, I owe a lot to the University of Illinois because it's helped me be the person that I am. And when I came back, it's personal for me to do everything I can daily to help us get where we want to get to, and it's not just about me or one person, but, I feel like my blood is in the bricks and I want to help us get to where we want to go. So, every day that I'm on that turf, I understand the history, the experiences from me being on that turf and the different guys that have played next to me on that turf. So I want to make those guys proud. I want to make the state of Illinois proud. And I think as a staff, we all want to do those things too.
Thanks, George. I
So,
really
hey, just to clear up, Caleb, so he had a teammate from Danville who plays at Colorado State, Kendall Moore was a teammate for him. But Caleb was a four-sport guy at Danville. He was a baseball, soccer, football, basketball. He was a captain on the basketball team that Kendall played on as well. So, and his sister kicks.
Yeah.
That's the other, yeah. Just to clear that. All right. Anything else for George? All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, George.
thanks, George.
All right. We got Coach Kane